What is up, guys? Welcome back to Across the Board, sponsored by Moneyball Metrics. You have your normal everyday host, myself, Alpha Dog Bats, along with JD from Line Movers, and you guys know who we have at the bottom. We have Ben from We Beat the Spread. Ben, I would say it's great to see you, but your Vikings beat up on my Giants yesterday, so I'm not exactly enjoying seeing you. JD, it is great to see you. Welcome back to the show. You were missed last week. But, guys, we just wrapped up an unbelievable first weekend of NFL action. We are back to give you guys some MLB bets and a couple NFL bets for Monday night. JD, how are you? We missed you on Friday.
Great, man. Just want to say, actually, as far as a week one goes, we had a great, week one. These, games were actually very good. Really, the Thursday night game, that was a banger. And then Friday night game was okay. I mean, the field was shit, but
awful.
The Sunday games were all good. And then as far as me, I had a crazy day. So everything's going great.
We love to hear that, JD. You've been killing it. You've been killing it for 2 straight months now. You always kill it. But the last couple of months, you've been on a run I have not seen in a while. Keep it rolling. It's definitely super impressive. Ben, how was your first week in the NFL action, and how was your weekend?
Doing great. We had a good weekend. I literally never toot my own horn, but I went 7-3 yesterday on my first NFL Sunday. So that was fun. That was good. It's always good to win week one. Definitely was happy with that. And like JD said, we had a lot of really good games. I actually thought the quality of games, we had a lot of close games. We saw some rookies playing well. Caleb Williams, although he only had under 100 yards, still won the game. That Bengals game, I don't know how many people got knocked out and survived. I don't know the exact number, but I know a lot of people lost their survivor pool with the Bengals, including, myself and Alpha. And, I can't remember who else had it. I can't remember if it was Jammer. Joe had it.
Joe had it as well.
So, a lot of people lost on the Bengals in week one on the survivor. So that sucks. But overall, can't be too mad. It was a great Sunday. Football's back.
Yeah, not going to lie. I'm out in every single Survivor League I joined this year. Thank you so much to the New England Patriots. If you were here for the Friday show, me and Ben apologize for giving you that pick. We had somebody who came into the chat and asked us for our Survivor pick. I have a feeling we're not going to be asked our Survivor picks for this Friday, but we will see what happens. Boys, it's an awesome Monday. We have a pretty good MLB slate, and we're going into an excellent NFL game on Monday night. You guys ready to dive into the first game on the slate?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Let's do it, boys. First game today is the Mets, who are visiting Toronto, taking on the Blue Jays. Pitching for the Mets is Paul Blackburn. Blackburn's coming in 5-4 with a 4.6 ERA. On the other side, we have Chris Bassett. Bassett's coming in 9-13 with a 4.3 ERA. JD, I have to say this to you because I say it to you all the time on the show. It's just so interesting looking at pitchers' ERAs to record. You take a look at Chris Bassett. He's got a significantly lower ERA than Paul Blackburn. However, Paul Blackburn is a above 500 pitcher coming in 5-4. Chris Bassett is 9-13, so it's always interesting seeing which teams bat for which pitchers. Ben, we'll start with you as our special guest, who's really not a special guest anymore. You've been here so many times. What do you like in this Mets-Blue Jays game?
Yeah, these two teams are kind of trending in opposite directions right now. Blue Jays 1-4 over their last 5, and kind of offensively, they've been in a little bit of a rut. Even in 11 innings last night, they still only managed to score 3 runs against the Braves. They dropped that one. So suddenly it's kind of, they're on the hot seat. They're well under 500 now at 68-76. So it's just what's this Blue Jays team really got left in September? Meanwhile, on the other side, the Mets are sitting at 78-65, 4-1 over their last 5. So yeah, really trending in opposite directions here as far as the Mets go. 14-6 over the last 20 games. Now they do not have Paul Blackburn on the mound anymore. He was scheduled to start today. He's not going to be able to make it. So it's McGill on the mound. And I got to say that.
Is that official already?
Yeah, I have seen it pretty official. He's listed already on FanDuel, so I think it is official now.
Then that's definitely official. Good catch there.
McGill's going to be starting, which I think is a pretty big downgrade here for the Mets because he has struggled this year. He's had some decent starts. He went earlier in the season, he went 7 innings against the Dodgers without allowing a run, but he just hasn't been consistent. That's the thing for me. And on the road, we don't have a huge sample size for him because he hasn't pitched a ton this year. But on the road this year, he does have a 6.38 ERA and only 18 innings pitched on the road. He's given up 13 earned runs. That's not a very good rate of earned runs given up, even if it's only 18 innings. We don't, like I said, we don't have a huge sample size. But with how inconsistent he's been, I know on the other side you have Vladdy, who's been crushing it this year and everything. But I'm going to say I'm actually going to take the Mets to stay offensively just on top of it in this game because we haven't seen it from the Blue Jays offense. I feel like they're kind of just losing a little bit of momentum in their bat, just knowing that they're sitting well below 500 now, kind of out of it. So I'm going to take the Mets to stay hot here. I think if you have a pitcher with a 6.38 road ERA and they're still sitting at a favorite even with that pitching change, I think there's kind of something in the line there that's speaking to me. So I'm going to take the Mets.
I was about to say, so you put this perfectly. This opened at a -120, and then the Mets shot up all the way to a -145. Now they're back to a -125. So the odds really didn't make sense. So good catch with the pitching change here. ESPN still has Paul Blackburn listed as the starter, but every sports book has it with McGill. The Blue Jays still do not have a starter on the sports books, but ESPN is listing it as Bassett, and I do believe it will be Bassett who does go for the Blue Jays tonight. And when you take a look in depth at how Bassett has done, Bassett in his last 5 starts, the team has lost 4 of them, and in the one start that they did win, they played against the Angels at home, and it was a 5-4 ball game, so it was still pretty close. You put it perfectly, Ben. This Mets team has been unbelievable the last month or two. I know Vladdy's been the best player in baseball over the last month, but this Mets team really has come into their own, and it's continuing to be big game after big game for this team. They continue to keep getting it done as well. Give me the Mets. I do like the line better now that it's a -125, and it's definitely going to be an official play for me. JD, any action from you on the first baseball game of the day?
You know, that pitching change I actually had not seen yet. So I capped this game as a totally different game. I will say even as the actual original play there, I had the Blue Jays as a small actually favorite here. But actually, just like y'all have said, the Mets are actually 9-1 their last 10, 4-1 last 5. Blue Jays are 3-7 their last 10, and actually 1-4 their last 5. So I'm just not going to go in front of them now. As far as the Blue Jays, this could be a buy low spot. It looks like you can get a +120 actually on them now. If I had to play it, I would actually lean that. But yeah, the Mets are hot currently, so I'm just going to stay off.
Smart play. And JD, that's a great time for me to jump in my normal once a show, every show line that says sometimes the best play you can make on a game is no play if you don't have a strong read, especially with pitchers changing left and right. This late in the year, you have a team like the Blue Jays that are dead to rights. They're out of playoff contention. But sometimes when you have a bunch of changing pitchers, it does change what you think of the game. So sometimes the best play is no play that you can make on the game. Let's roll, fellas, into the second game we have on the slate, which is the Baltimore Orioles, who are taking on the Boston Red Sox. Pitching for the Orioles is Cade Povich. Povich is coming in 2-7 with a 5.75 ERA. Don't really need to go more in detail about Povich. Those numbers speak for themselves. Brayan Bello on the other end is 12-7 with a 4.75 ERA. That's just crazy that he's 5 games above 500 with a 4.75 ERA. I know I bring that up almost every game, but it's just interesting to see how teams do when certain pitchers are pitching. Ben, any action from you in the Orioles Red Sox tonight?
I do actually like a play in this game. I understand that Povich has a horrible ERA, but I think I'm actually going to go Orioles here. Bello's not been great at home. As bad as, Povich's ERA looks, I really think that this is kind of just a good spot for him. He's faced some lefty crushers. He just pitched 7.1 innings without giving up a run. That was against the White Sox. So yeah, whatever way you want to put on that.
Yep.
However, before that, he gave up 5 earned runs to both the Dodgers and Astros. Those are 2 tough lineups, especially the Astros. They always crush lefties year after year. They have a really good lineup against them. So he has struggled in some starts, and he's definitely gotten blown up a bit. But the Red Sox have struggled against left-handed pitching all year. You actually look, they're 56-47. They're above 500 against right-handed pitching when they face a right-handed starter. They're only 16-24 this season. They're below 500 when they face a left-handed starter. Over the last 30 days, over the last month, they're actually 25th in baseball in batting average against lefties. So, you know what? I actually think this is a spot where if Povich can come out and give them like 2-3 earned runs, kind of set up that Orioles offense, I think the Orioles can get to Brayan Bello and actually put up enough to even overcome whatever Povich gives up. So I do think their offense will be good enough in this one. I like the line on this because you're getting them as, I believe, a slight dog, right? So I actually really like this spot for them getting the plus money here. And yeah, I think I'm going to ride the Orioles actually in this one.
I like that. And what I took from what you think about the game is I'm assuming you think there's going to be runs in this game by the way you kind of worded everything. Cade Povich on the bump, Brian Bayo on the bump. Usually a recipe for a ton of runs. I think you guys know where I'm going on this one. The over is currently sitting at 9.5, and it's juiced on the under, so we like to see that. You can currently get it at minus 105. We said it in the read up to this game. When you take a look at Brian Bayo, he's 12-7, but has a 4.75 ERA. That means he's giving up almost 5 runs per 9, and the team's consistently winning and has leads while he's in the ball game. So I do think that will continue. The Red Sox tend to hit when he's on the bump. And for the Orioles, I do think they will get runs off Bayo as well. He is a right-handed hitter, and the Orioles like to hit against righties. So I definitely think this is a game that has a recipe for a ton of runs. Give me the over 9.5. I will save it and let you guys know if it's in best bets when we get to the best bet segment. JD, any action from you?
You know, I don't have a play on this game yet. As far as my notes goes, Ben literally said them all.
Gotta love that.
So yeah, as far as the Orioles here, them actually being an actual underdog, I don't really understand it. I have them priced at a minus 122. So yeah, it's just a price that I don't really understand. So I haven't bet it yet. That is definitely the side I would be on. As a matter of fact, you can get the Orioles at actually plus money currently, and you can get the Blue Jays at actually plus money currently. So what I would do is actually play both. Dogs, and actually if you hit one, you know the other's good. So
all you got to do is profit. So if you get one of those two dogs, you will definitely be in the green. I understand why. There's just something weird going on with this Orioles team. Everyone keeps talking in the sports world how bad the Yankees have been over the last month or two. They seem to blow games more than anyone. Their closer has more saves than anyone. And the Orioles, every time you look at the standings, are a half game behind the Yankees. It doesn't matter what the Yankees do. The Orioles can't get above them. And it's been a very interesting fight to see. It seems like in games that you expect the Orioles to win as of late, they're just not. They've been equally as bad as the Yankees. Yeah. To me, it feels like neither of these teams want to win the division with how they've been playing, but someone will. That's why the Orioles lines have been interesting lately. They just have not performed in big moments. They have a lot of young players, so I understand why the line's a little iffy, but we will have to see in this game. Let's keep it moving right along, fellas, to the last MLB game of the day we're breaking down, and that's going to be the Cubs taking on the Dodgers. Pitching for the Cubs is Kyle Hendricks with his fantastic 3-11 record with a 6.6 ERA. On the other side, Walker Buehler, 1-4 with a 5.6 ERA. Guys, if you combine these two starting pitchers' records, they're combined 4-15. Both pitchers have not been good this year. Walker Buehler has been hurt, hasn't pitched a ton. But like I said, these pitchers have both been extremely disappointing. We'll start with you, JD. Any action in the Dodgers-Cubbies game tonight?
Yeah, man. Runs. I absolutely love runs here. The model has this game at actually 10.6 runs. I think on Dodgers totals, it has been doing very well. I've actually given up Dodgers games overs a few times actually the past few weeks, and actually they have all hit. So actually, like a Dodgers game, whenever I have a number that's actually saying over, like it's just a blind bet now. As far as actually Hendricks goes, on the road, he is just honestly like trash. Believe he has a road actually. His road ERA is up to 7.89 now. And then as far as Buehler goes, he's just not the same still. So yeah, this is then actually since the All-Star break, we actually have both of these teams are actually averaging 5.1 runs. So yeah, the total is set here at a 9.5. So let's go over that.
JD, you put it perfectly. I'm not going to waste anyone's time. Runs. I think we're going to see a ton of runs in this ball game. I am with you 1,000%. Like you said in the last game, all the notes that you had Ben took, you just took mine. So I see it the exact same way you do, bro. I'm on the same exact play. Ben, anything from you?
Well, I'm actually a little nervous about both of you guys taking the over because I see this game going a little separately in the fact that I think the Dodgers could put up 7 or 8 runs in this game. And I think they could win 7 or 8-0, and it would still go under because the Cubs, in their last 5 games, they have been shut out 3 times in their last 5 games. They were up against some good Yankees pitchers, but Of course, they also got shut out against the Pirates. Now, they did put up 12 runs in one of those games in that series, but in their last 6 games, they have scored above 3 runs once. That's pretty bad. And yes, they're up against Walker Buehler tonight. I know he hasn't been great, but just the fact of where this line is, -190 with Walker Buehler, it just tells me a lot about this game. I understand Kyle Hendricks is on the other side, which is exactly why I think that the Dodgers can absolutely break this game open, put up a ton of runs. I just don't know if I can see it for the Cubs scoring a bunch of runs on this team, even against Buehler. So to me, it's really kind of a stay away from this game. I don't like taking high money lines, so I'm not going to take Dodgers -190. I hate taking home run lines because even as crazy as this game could be, I hate it when those home teams win by 1. So really, I think this is just a stay away for me. I'm not sure I like the total or any side in this game.
I respect it. And as you know what I'm going to say, Ben, sometimes the best play you can make on the game is no play. Boys, we were about to go into the football game, but we have a very special viewer. We have Footy Chancellor in the chat, who we know is a big Pittsburgh guy, like our other buddy, Jammer Betts, who's on here all the time. He's saying it's Paul Skeens Day. Before we get into the NFL action, Ben, I'm going to go to you. Any action on the Pirates Day? I mean, it's a little tough as they're -300 favorites against the Marlins. I personally don't have anything, but do any of the boys have any action on Paul Skeens? Ben, we'll start with you.
Well, I was really quickly going to pull up his strikeouts prop because I'm pretty sure it's probably at like 9.5. No, I'm just kidding. But it is the Marlins. It's Skeens. It's hard for the Pirates because just at this point they're at in the season with Skeens kind of, lengthening his starts now every time. It means that he could technically put up more, but it's just like more pitches, I should say. But you just never know how they're going to handle his whole situation now at the point they are in the season, not looking at the playoffs or anything necessarily right now, unless a miracle happened. So it's hard for me. The Marlins don't show me anything. It feels like kind of an under spot for me. If I had to pick a side or a play, I should say, in this game, I'd go under 7.5 because Skeens should be able to go 6-7 strong with 1 or 2 earned runs. But yeah, over 15.5.
I almost choked reading that. I choked. I had to put it up there because it's so funny.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, I got to look very quickly at their strikeout rate over the last. They're actually somewhat lower over their last 30 games. I know they were way up there at the beginning of the season, but they're actually 21st lowest in strikeout rate against right-handed pitching over the last 30 days, which is a little surprising for me to see that. But I know on the season they've been pretty bad, so it really is a spot where he should put up 10Ks.
Yeah, but also at the same time, you don't know how many pitches he's going to go.
Exactly,
They keep saying. So for me, it's such a stay away. And JD, on this show, I don't play unders at 7.5. I think that's an unders death line. That's only an overs line for me. So no action from me, but we do appreciate the comment. Footy, any action from you, JD, before we get to the football game?
No, these are the games actually like this time of year that I just don't even really actually look at. Just looking at it really quick, just some numbers I have here. I would actually lean over the over 7.5, or either maybe a Pirates first 5 actually team total over here. But yeah, I would actually be looking for some kind of runs, and probably most likely from the Pittsburgh side.
Yeah, it's tough to bank on any runs from this Marlins team, but on any given day, it is the major leagues, and you don't know what's going to happen. So, Footy, hope that answered your question or answered your comment. No action from any of the boys officially on the game. But, guys, it's time to get into the big game of the night, the one everyone cares about the most. We have the New York Jets, the return of Aaron Rodgers. Will he make it more than 4 plays this year? We all know what happened on the 4th play last year. They're taking on the San Francisco 49ers. The current odds, the Jets are getting 4.5 points. Ben, let's start with you. What do you think about the Jets-Niners tonight?
Oh, I'm so back and forth on this. I really do think that the Jets O-line is going to be a problem. I think if they can overcome that, because we saw it with Stafford last night. Stafford actually laid out, I think, a pretty good game plan for what Aaron Rodgers could do against the Niners tonight, in the sense that, yes, the Lions had Aiden Hutchinson, and he was going all over the place. He had good plays still. But even with that pressure that the Lions D-line was bringing, Stafford still got out some really nice throws quickly. He was looking at his first read. I forget which announcer said it, but early on in the game, he said he's not going to his second, his third read. He's just going to his first read, and he was making good throws. So, and we know Aaron Rodgers is capable of that. We've seen it year after year after year. Future Hall of Famer. So he can do that. He can get past this pressure that we know the 49ers D-line is going to bring. It's just, will it hold up all game? He's getting older now. He's coming off that injury. It's can that hold up all game? So I think actually one of my favorite plays here is going to be a Jets first half play here. I do think that, the first half of the first game of the season can always be a little bit iffy. And over the course of the game, I see that Niners D-line kind of breaking down the Jets O-line a little bit more. So I do think that this is definitely a Jets first half play for me. Personally, the numbers have been kind of floating around a little bit, but you can get a field goal actually on the first half. So I love that play. Depending on where you play it, I got a field goal at minus 115. So
I have one comment about that. I mean, I know the Jets offensive line had a lot of struggles last year, but they really retooled in the offseason. They did draft Olu Fashanu out of Penn State. They also did make a big trade to get Morgan Moses from the Baltimore Ravens. They also had Elijah Vera Tucker out for the year with a big injury last year, and he's a key cog to that line too. So I do think the Jets offensive line does have a better chance at holding up this year compared to last year.
Definitely.
And Aaron Rodgers is the smartest quarterback that we have in New York. I mean, at least the two teams locally, Daniel Jones, Aaron Rodgers.
You're telling me Daniel Jones isn't better?
Don't get me started. Don't get me annoyed today. Anyway, this Jets team, though, I do think is going to be really good. I do think the offensive line is going to be a lot better. There's more to come about the offensive line later. We do have a team prop that we are going to be getting into, so a little more from that. But getting more into this game, I absolutely love the Jets this year. And I don't think they're getting any respect to start the season. I'm wearing the Yankee green hat because I don't have it in me to wear Jets colors. I just don't. But I do have the green for the Jets on today, and I do think this team is going to surprise a lot of people. Their offense is going to be scary. Breece Hall, I mean, if you just look at fantasy numbers, is the second or third running back taken in every single draft right now. Aaron Rodgers and Garrett Wilson have a great connection. They have great chemistry. I expect them to be able to move the ball in the air this year a lot better than they did it last year. And this Jets team is hungry. The one question I have about this Jets team is the coaching. I think Robert Saleh is awful. And I think the best thing possible for this Jets team for the longevity of the season is to lose early in the year so they can get him fired and get an actual capable coach in there. But to me, I do think the Jets tonight are the play at the plus 4.5. The line's been fluctuating a lot. It's been very odd. I went to bed last night. The Jets were plus 4.5. I woke up this morning. They were down to 3.5. They're back up to 4.5. So we're seeing a lot of action coming in on different ways that keep moving the line. If you like the Jets tonight, I would probably suggest taking it early because I do think this line is going to, as the day goes on, go more towards the 49ers. So if you like the Jets and the plus money at the plus 4.5, I would take it. And 4.5 is a good number. So I do think the Jets have a big performance. I think the Jets have a shot to win this outright too. And I hate to say this, the Jets are my dark horse to win the Super Bowl this year. And it pains me to say that as a fan of the team in the same building that's not the Jets. But I really do love what they've done. They do need help on the defensive line. They are going to need to get players back. They are going to need to get pressure this year. They did lose Bryce Huff, and I just think they're going to be in some trouble on the D-line, but that'll only take effect as the season goes on. So give me the Jets plus 4.5. It is my favorite play in this game by far and was one of my favorite plays for the entire weekend NFL slate. JD, we got an NFL breakdown coming from Line Movers. What do you got?
Man, I swear I see from actually y'all and then on Twitter and everywhere else, it's Jets, Jets, Jets. It seems like everybody is actually on the Jets. And kind of where, like you said, I think the value on them is actually completely gone. I actually don't think there's actually any there now because everybody seems to be so actually high on them. But actually, we haven't actually seen them yet. We actually really don't know what that's really going to be. And for me, as everybody knows, how actually I cap, I actually make this number 6.3. So for me, you can still get the Niners at actually a minus. You can still find an actual 3.5. And I absolutely love that. So as far as a numbers play, I absolutely love this. As far as the public money, what's what, I'm actually not sure that there's something that I actually don't watch. But it'll be, just like I said, it seems like everybody is actually on Jets though. So with me showing actually a good number on actually the other side here, and actually being on the side that everybody doesn't seem to actually be on. Yeah, I absolutely love them.
I pulled the numbers up here for people. I know that some people live and love the actual data on the public betting percentages, so I did pull it up here. The Jets are getting 60% of the handle, 50% of the money, and the Niners are getting 40-43. So the Jets are definitely the more public side here. It's not as crazy as I originally anticipated. Only a 60-40 is not too bad, but the Jets are still the betting. They are a public dog. There's no other way to put it besides that. And public dogs do have a negative connotation. I mean, Ben, are you somebody who likes to bet any kind of public dog, or is that something you like to avoid? I know that's a big betting tactic by people, is to never take public dogs.
I was going to actually say the exact opposite. When I see a public dog, especially I think it matters more in the thing about betting spreads, especially in primetime football, that is the sharpest line in any sport of any time of year on any possible thing you could imagine, because there's so many people betting primetime football that you are going to see the sharpest line ever from the book. Like they usually end very close to that spread. So when I see that the public loves the underdog in that spot, it just always sways me the other way automatically, which is kind of why I actually like that Jets first half angle a little bit better. Just thinking about how this game's going to play out after from those second half adjustments. And like you said, Robert Saleh, not a good coach. I actually think we're going to see better adjustments from the Niners here, especially defensively. I do think that defensive line is going to be an issue over the course of the game. You did make good points about the upgrades they made off the offensive line, but maybe those come to fruition later down the season after they take a few more games. It's still the first game. They got to mesh. They got to get their reads and everything, even on the offensive line. I mean, we talk about receivers, quarterbacks. It's the truth. It's the same for the line. So I think they could still struggle, especially in the second half of this game. So I typically tend to lean towards fading public dogs, but I am going to go first half Jets. And I do have a very sneaky prop I like in this game. I know you guys have one as well, but I have a first touchdown prop. Well, anytime touchdown. But Allen Lazard, first touchdown is plus 3,500 on DraftKings. He only scored one touchdown last year. I don't think anyone's even considering his name in this game for props. I don't even see his receiving yards listed. However, he's plus 600 for an anytime touchdown, plus 3,500 for the first touchdown. We can't forget a very, very familiar face. He played with Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay for a few years. You just brought up a ton of offensive monsters. Breece Hall. They have Garrett Wilson, who are going to draw a lot of defensive attention. Allen Lazard could easily get a fade route here or something. He's going to have a lot of one-on-one coverage for the snaps he does play. He's not going to play 100% of snaps, but
I agree.
I think he might get a few red zone snaps. And if he does, he'll have a one-on-one, and he has good chemistry with Aaron Rodgers. So especially with Rodgers being out for an entire year, coming back, seeing a familiar face who's probably going to have one-on-one coverage in the red zone or something, plus 600 for an anytime touchdown. Yeah, I'll take that all day. Plus 3,500 for the first as well. I think it's kind of a sneaky prop.
It's an interesting idea and an interesting type of play, because let's say I'm not a big fan of his first touchdown, going to be honest. I think for Allen Lazard to find the end zone, you're probably going to need it to be a couple series into the game, or maybe you have a couple small injuries, a couple minor things that are, hurting a couple guys where they can't play every snap. And maybe in the second half, later in like the third quarter or so, Lazard comes in for one of the banged up receivers. The Jets begin to hit all night and is able to find the end zone. So for that plus 600 anytime touchdown, I definitely like that. But guys, it is time that we are going to be going into our outlier prop of the day. We will be giving these out every single day, and we have a great one for today, guys. Take a look. We have Breece Hall anytime touchdown, and in his last 5 games, he has hit that 4 times, which is 80%. This year, he's projected to be the focal point of the scoring for this Jets offense. I anticipate he does that. An outlier is a tool that makes it easy to find these kind of props. They sort everything so you see which has the highest percentages of their last 5 games, their last 10 games, etc. You can see how they've done in the previous season, and it helps you identify amazing props, and this is one that we found today. You can currently get this at a plus 120 on FanDuel and DraftKings. You can see that on the top left over there, and they show you exactly where you can get these lines, why you would take it, and the odds that they have before. So this is going to be our group collab, which we will come back to tomorrow and recap, but we are taking Breece Hall anytime touchdown at the plus 120. If you can get any play that has hit at 80% in the last 5, I recommend taking that, especially if it's in the plus money. And we are all over our outlier prop of the day, which is going to be Breece Hall anytime touchdown. Boys, it's about that time. Everyone's here. They're waiting for the best bets. You guys ready to dive into it?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Well, first, I have to find the right video because we switched it. I hope this is right. It might not be, but we're going in to best bets, boys. And the best news is I did get it right. I'm going to start off best bets today. I'm all over the Mets. I love the Mets in this spot. I do think they get it done on the money line. And my second favorite play, look at the color. Look at the color. We're taking the Jets plus 4.5. I think the Jets are going to have a big performance in their opening day. They have Rodgers back. They have the full team they've dreamt about for almost 2 years now. It's a big night for the Jets fan base. It's a big night for the Jets, and I think they get it done. I can even see them winning the game. Ben, we'll go to you second. What do you got?
All right. I have a few best bets here. One of them is going to be that Orioles spot. I love that one. We already covered that one. The other one is going to be actually a prop, not the Alan Lazard prop we covered, but it is going to be Brock Purdy under 21.5 completions. You can grab this one with a little bit of juice. It's like minus 130. You guys want to know how many games Brock Purdy had over 21.5 completions last year?
I do.
2.
How many?
The entire season. This guy almost won an MVP. He was one of the most efficient quarterbacks last year. We were talking about this as one of the best offenses. They went to the Super Bowl. Even in the playoffs, but the playoffs he had a few more, but that got kind of shorter field. But when you look at his regular season last year, 2 games he had over 21.5 completions, and I think that really speaks kind of their offense. And they have Christian McCaffrey, who's seemingly healthy. I know he's had a little bit of that injury.
Seemingly,
he's pretty healthy. Debo is even a runner. A lot of these passes too that they do complete are very efficient because they have really good guys that are good after the catch. So they have a lot of long catches. It just doesn't seem like he's kind of like that guy eating those short passes all night. So I really do think this is going to be a game where it's going to be a lot of running. It's week 1. Brock Purdy's still trying to get into the groove just like every other player in the league. So I think just given the data we have from last year, which was already a very good year for him coming into this year as well, I think this total is high because a lot of people are high on Brock Purdy coming off last year, but they don't really realize when you look at it from the data, he went under this line a lot last year. So I love this under 21.5. And as far as props go, especially in primetime, people don't take unders. People hate taking prop unders. So usually you can get high lines, especially in these primetime games. So if you can find good under spots on props, I always love taking unders on props, especially in primetime. So yeah, that's one of my favorite bets for tonight.
I like that. I like that for sure. All right, we're going over to the guy who I feel like hasn't lost the best bet in 2 months. JD, what you got today?
Let's go back to the Cubs and the Dodgers game. Wow. Actually, since we talked about the game, the total has moved up to 10. Actually, most books.
Yep.
You can still get a 9.5 at FanDuel. And it looks like a couple other books also. So let's actually go with the over there. And then for the football game tonight, let's actually take the Niners at actually minus 3.5 at actually minus 115.
I like it. Well, boys, it's been a fantastic show. We got our first Monday Night Football action in for the year. Fellas, we have a big game tonight. We have a big week. Big news from JD and I and the boys at Moneyball Metrics. We will be here all 5 days going forward during the week. We are a Monday through Friday show now. Ben's going to be with us every single Monday, Friday. We have other surprises coming, more weekly special guests, and you guys know our resident Pittsburgh guy, Jammer Bets. I think you'll be seeing him a lot more too. Fellas, excellent show, excellent day. And guys, if you want to get the best bets in the world, tap into the Moneyball Metrics Discord. It's free to join, get free bets, and join the best community out there in the sports gambling industry. Fellas, it's been a pleasure. I'll catch y'all tomorrow.
See y'all.